Our guest for today is a content writer, social media manager, having managed the social platforms of both local and international brands, spanning the Gist blogger, web app, Go Local Diaries. She's currently a social media associate at She Code Africa. You discoverers and you tech genies, welcome Hilda Iduku to share with you what it takes to become a professional social media manager and post content that goes viral. On the discuss the tales of a refined social media manager. On today's episode of Let's Talk About It, Voices That Shape the Future, aka Lay Visa.
Let's start with the question. How do linguistics graduates end up in social media management?
So it wasn't planned, right? So, social media management wasn't planned. It started in 2020 during the COVID period here. And we are home for a very long time. I think I was in my second year in university then. And yeah, we were home for a very long time. And I knew I could not just be wasting those amount of months. Yeah, just sitting idly. So I initially wanted to learn content writing because I had always written. I grew up writing. When I was in primary school, I would just take off my book and start writing stories and stuff like that. So writing poems and all of that. So I always loved writing and content writing and all that. So that was what I actually wanted to do during that period. But I stumbled into a boot camp. And it was content creation and digital marketing. So I was like, okay, let me check it out. Yeah, and that was like started. That was how my journey to social media management started.
Wow, that's nice. So the idea was just content writing initially.
Yeah.
So right now, do you do a lot of content writing?
As a social media manager, you have to do content writing, come up with captions and all of that. And so, yeah.
So it's still there, just now broader.
Exactly.
Wow, interesting. So can you just walk us through the process? You made mention of the boot camp.
Yeah.
So how did you get integrated? Because I know right now you work for She Code Africa, and that's not an easy one. So you're already doing it. You've worked in international companies. You're as a social media manager working in She Code. So talk to us if we want to get to that level too. How can we find our way around?
Okay, so I would use my story, right? How I got into it. So, like I said, I had the opportunity to go into that boot camp, right? And it was a very, very nice experience for me because you know how boot camps are now.
Yeah.
Like they are very intense and all of that. It's not like those courses you just go take on. I'm not discrediting courses, please.
Of course,
But it's not like those ones.
Boot camp is just back to back. You have time
and it's live and all of that. You have people you're collaborating with. You have to, if you don't submit, you get kicked out, and you don't want to get kicked out, that kind of thing. So you have to take it seriously and all. And the beautiful part about it was while I was taking the boot camp and while I was doing my assignment and all of that, I was building a portfolio for myself. Yeah, and as a social media manager, that's one very important thing you want to have. You want to have a portfolio, right? Because having proof to back up, or you can't just say, "Oh, I do social media management." You need to have proof to back it up. Your proof is your portfolio, basically. So yeah, the bootcamp really helped a lot, right? And after 2020, after I went back to school, I took a step back from because I mean classes and all of that. You have to get to try to stand up, but I still found myself taking little courses on Coursera and stuff like that. But I'll say that bootcamp was it was the foundation of everything, right? Because immediately I finished school. I think just a week after my first exam, something like that, I got my first job. Yeah.
That was the final year exam.
Yeah, my final year exam.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the bootcamp was the foundation because like I said, I was able to have a portfolio. So when I put that on my CV, yeah, that's a good part. I put it on my CV. Yeah, I work as I am because I got to practice hands-on, right? I got to use platforms like Facebook, Instagram during that bootcamp. We had to do a live project. We had to. There was this project we worked on, Easy Learn Africa, an educational website and all of that. So we went through building of and I was as a social media manager in that
intern. Okay.
No, should I say intern students? Because we are students in bootcamp, right? Yeah. So as a student of social media management, content creation / digital marketing actually. So I had to while the designers and all of that, while they built the websites and all of that, we had to be the ones pushing it out on social media. So it was life experience for me, right? It was tangible experience, something I could put on my CV. Yeah, and during my time in school also, I also did a volunteer project as a content writer and all that. So all of that I had them in my CV. So by the time I was coming out of school, I was already applying for jobs, and that's how I was able to click.
Oh my goodness, that's really nice, because one of the things we do here at You Discover is, as much as possible, start early. Yeah. And I can say that's what you did, because it's one level, that's starting early. And by the time you left school, others were graduating with linguistics. You were graduating with linguistics, and so that's amazing. So you can say the boot camp, or in some cases courses, but the main point is working on active projects. Yes. Right? Yeah. I mean, even if you're going to be self-taught, you don't want to join any boot camp, any community, can you work on active projects, tangible projects that have proof? That's amazing. So how has been the job experiences, moving from one job to the next? How has it been easy? Is the social media marketing job experience, is it easy to just get a job? How can I just get a job?
So is it easy to get a job in social media management? Should I say that's a dicey one? Okay. If you're good at what you do, you should be able to get a job, actually. So like I said, right, you need your proofs, because nobody is going to hire you without proof. Right, and the only reason they were able to take a chance on a fresh graduate that had no prior work experience was because of these things I had worked on before. Right, portfolio. Exactly, the portfolio I had, and I was able to back it up with experience and all. What these things give you, right? When you go there, you go to an interview, and we're not just speaking English as well. Yeah, you have to talk as a social media manager. You have to talk about how you grew a page from so and so. You have to talk about the content strategy you used, and that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what you read in a course or something like that. So you have to bring your proof to. So if you have your portfolio in order, if you know what you're doing as a social media manager, you should be able to get a job easily. Wow. It's one of those jobs that I can be scrolling online and I see so many jobs, social media management.
Wow. So you can even advise maybe someone that they just need something that they can quickly learn and start earning. You would advise social media management.
I think that boot camp lasted for 3 months.
So just 3 months.
3 months.
Amazing, actually. So what would you say are the common mistakes people make when they want to go into that career path? What are the mistakes that usually set them back and all?
Mistakes they make. Okay, first of all, I would say do not tribalize. If you go to get social media, do not tribalize it. It's not as easy as it seems, right?
It's not as easy as it seems. Thank you so much.
It's not actually. Because when you hear social media management, it's not to be posting. It's not to be posting picture. A lot of strategy goes into social media management. It's not for the weak at all. Actually, it's not. So the one very big mistake people make is tribalizing it. Social media, and I have a social media account. I have a Facebook account. A social media account is even. I have a Facebook account. I used to post pictures. I used to have 100 likes. When you're working for a company, you're not posting a picture and people no. You are. It's a very big work. You are positioning a brand in front of its audience, in front of billions of people, because it's social media, millions of people have access to social media. So you are positioning a brand in a role like social media management. You don't want to make mistakes, right? Because this one is not you, it's not your personal something like that. There are Russian guns and stuff. Any little mistake you make, it has blown, and you might present the brand in a wrong image or something, and you don't want that to happen. So there's a lot of planning and strategy that comes into social media management. So for one, don't tribalize it. Wow. If you're going to go into social management, know what. Take time research, know what it's all about, what the entails and different.
Wow. I think that goes especially for brands, like you said, because sometimes you could even tread into little waters and go and implicate your brand. So what would you say now if we want to talk about into social media management and receiving pressure to make a content go viral? Are there like steps to just know that, okay, this content will go viral? Is it just luck? Is it accident? How can you say that this content I want you to go viral?
That's, viral content. That's one of the, should I say, one of the things I really like. You get to choke social media managers and all, because I mean, your boss will be like, I'm paying you to make my brand go viral. And so the pressure is there and all of that. And I come across memes and all of that, and they're like, after putting hours into this content, I get 2 likes, that kind of thing, like social media managers posting and that kind of thing. And I look at it as it's always very relatable and very funny, right? Because so when it comes to, I think it works hand in hand. Strategy. Don't take away the place of strategy when it comes to viral content, right? But also there's also the place of luck. Actually, so you want to make sure you're strategizing properly. By strategy, I mean on this content, you're not just putting out random content. You have to make sure that you understand who your target audience are. Right? One very important thing, right, is understanding that you're not in the market for everybody. Right?
You're not in the market for everybody.
You're not in the market for everybody. You need to have in mind that you have a target audience. So stop trying to play to everybody's appraisal. So not everybody can for you. You have a brand. Your brand is supposed to cater for a particular set of people, not for everybody. Like the first brand I worked for example, was a lactation company. Right? Now I understood that my target audience were pregnant women. Right? Pregnant women, and maybe their husband they care enough for me. Usually pregnant women. So there was no way I was going to be putting out content for kids or for young couples that are not even interested in chicken. So understanding your content, your target audience, right? If for that brand, if anything is going to go viral, it's supposed to be something I'm supposed to tailor my content to. Okay, these are my target audience, right? And so many other things. You have to in social media, you have to make data-driven decisions. Right. So from previous content you put out, you have to check, okay, what works and what doesn't work. So you're adjusting this content that you want to make viral. You have to use data from previous contents that you put out there. Oh, this work, why did it not work, and stuff like that, to adjust it. And also active time of your audience. When your audience are active on social media, you have to understand that also, right? And these things are not hard, right? These are things that you get to see. So yes, I'm talking about the data side of social media management. The analytics of it. So these are things that you can easily get on. People use buffer, Hootsuite for analytics and all of that. But use your Instagram analytics can give you that. Yes, Facebook analytics and all of that. There are analytical platforms on the app itself that you can check to see, what am the active time with my audience, who are my audience, right? Are they more of males, are they more of females? Imagine you have 90% of females as your audience, and you are going to post what's only men related. To understand. So when it comes to viral content, because how it works, I actually want to say how it works, right? How it works, the algorithm notices that people are engaging with this content, it gets to push it out there more, so more people see it. So you want to make sure that this is something that catches the attention of people. It's the target audience, not just the target audience, catches the attention of the target audience, right? And when they engage with it, the algorithm tends to push it out. So yeah, strategy is very, very important. And a bit of luck also. Because you must strategize all these. You might strategize all the old strategizing in the world, and nothing. And you're like, what happened? I put my all into it. So
and I love something you said in the story you shared with me earlier, where you mentioned that a content can be good, but just because it's not placed in front of the right audience, it's still just down. Well, that's sad. So right now, I want to know, you mentioned something about Hootsuite buffer, and I was going to ask about that because you mentioned a lot of people use it for analytics, and there are also those that just use it to post. Maybe you post one content and you want it to go into other platforms. So when we are doing the social media managing job, do we need to prepare content per the social media platform, or can we just create a content and just spread it wide? As a person, what do you suggest?
So social media manager, right, you need to understand that different platforms have different things that work for them, right? For Instagram, for example, you should be thinking of sharing more of reels, right? Videos, short form videos and all of that, high quality pictures. You know how Instagram people are now.
Yeah.
Exactly those kind of things, right? So you have to understand like the others, and you tend to get like younger people on Instagram, they're young guys, young folks on Instagram and all of that. If you have like maybe for Facebook, you have like the mature audience there on Facebook and all that. Like for example, now my dad and mom, you see them. That's sorry, no offense. I know they are like. Oh my god, that was it. I know there are like some parents, active parents ahead, but majority of those elderly people and so okay. Majority of if you're targeting older audiences, I think that's the perfect word. If you're targeting older audiences, right? Facebook is your go-to platform. If you're targeting professionals, LinkedIn is your go-to platform. Yeah, exactly. So if you're putting out different content, you don't just want to spread the career. You have to like it doesn't have to be so different, right? Just little tweaks to make sure that you're speaking each platform's language.
That's nice. So let's say we have a novice now that wants to become a social media manager. What can we really say a good social media manager looks like? Because we factored in many things from what you said. For example, content can be good and not go viral. Sometimes it's not just in the right audience, in front of the right audience. So what can you say? Let's say I'm an aspiring social media manager. I want to take a course. So what's my end goal? What makes me a professional social media manager?
So all these things we mentioned so far, right, put together, make a good social media manager. You can't leave out the place of strategy for analytics. I mean, if you don't have a good strategy in place, what are you analyzing in the first place? You just have to understand. Yeah. So all these things together, having a good strategy as a social media manager, having a knowing how to analyze data and all of that makes for a good social media manager, right? Having knowledge in content is different, knowing how different platforms work makes for a good social media manager. So it all comes together to form. I mean, it's just like building a house, right? Different blocks and all of that. The different things coming together to make the house beautiful and all. So it's the same thing with social media manager. It's a social media manager, right? A lot of skills coming together to make for that social media.
Another thing I noticed in the social media industry, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that sometimes there tend to be maybe different expectations based on the company.
Yes.
So is there a way we can work towards a standard? I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say. For example, now, some company might not expect you to do the content, just create the calendar, the strategy. Some might expect you to even go as well as to do the graphics design and all. So what should we say to those kind of people? Is that right? Should we stand against that?
Sorry. It's not right.
Go on.
I mean, it's not. It's social media management.
Where's the boundary?
If you want to look at it, you know, it just reminded me now, right? My first job, how my colleague, also a social media manager, there, how she showed me a tweet where she was like, the guy was like, you apply for a social media management job, and they expect you to do graphics designing, content creation.
It can be mad.
They want to kill you. I mean, it's very suffocating. I'm very suffocating. No. Social media management, right? Of course, what it entails, you have to be the one coming up with the ideas, the content ideas, as a way, right? Coming up with the content ideas, coming up with the content calendar, doing the posting. You should know how to like respond to DMs, all of that, and messages. You know, my first job, they wanted to turn me to customer service on top of social media management that I'm applying for. Yeah, so it will be. I mean, you know, because they sold products and all of that, so they wanted me to be the one closing orders, taking orders, and I'm like, no. As a social media manager, when people come to the DM, in fact, it's supposed to be someone attending to like to
yes, it should be a customer relationship manager attending to them.
DM.
I think where your role might be should be more maybe commenting to. Responding to
people's comments, responding to comments and all that, and also engaging with other brands. right? Engaging with other brands. So you see content creation, there should be a content creator. You bring the idea, the content creator executes it. Then some brands want to be intelligent and they'll be like social media manager slash content creator so that you know that you are doing everything. But basically social media management just covers you coming up with the ideas for social media. You should be able to have a full understanding of how the platform works. You should be able to advise, oh, this is good for the page, this is not good for the page. To be able to tell the content creator, okay, this is what you should do and stuff like that. But you see content creation, you're not a graphic designer. You're not.
So what should an ideal social media team look like? This is the social media team, and this is like the ideal standard. What should that look like?
So in the second phase I wrote, right?
Yeah.
I was like they called it digital marketer. I was the digital marketer. Now there was also like it was also not digital marketer, but it was like my boss, like the same area, like junior digital marketer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so when you're calling the media team, there's him, the digital marketer, there's me, like most like social media managers, digital marketer kind of thing. And then they had a videographer, they had videographer slash photographer, they had a graphics designer, right? Nice. And they had someone that worked on motions and all those kind of animations and stuff like that. Do you understand? Exactly. It was just so perfect. But what they were lacking was content creator. Like a content, they didn't have a content creator. And also in my third job, at some point they brought a content strategist. They were social media managers, but they still brought a content strategist.
That's wrong.
So not really. So what we did now, we like worked hand in hand with this person. Now this person had, I think they did that because we were like entering the roles and stuff like that. So it just goes to show you the different paths you can branch into. This is maybe something else
right
now.
Please go ahead.
Okay, it just goes to show you the different branches you can go into as a social media manager. So you can choose to say, oh, okay, I want to specialize. I want to become a content strategist, right? You want just to say you want to go from being a social media manager into becoming a digital marketer, right? It's not digital marketer, you have to know email and copywriting, things like that. You have to know about content strategy. It's broad, digital marketing is broad, right? Wow. So from social media management, you can grow into becoming a marketing and comms specialist. You can go into PR, and so yeah, it's very, very. In itself, it's not broad, but you can like grow into these areas.
So which one has the money? Where does the money lie? Does the money lie in everything?
No. I think it's always worth to like specialize. Right, specialize. I mean, I've seen roles. It's funny, right?
I spoke like a tree, don't you?
Oh, I see where that's coming from. Yeah, I think you have to specialize. Actually, it's good to specialize. I mean, just being everywhere. Okay, it's fine. Depends on what works for an individual, right? And when it comes to where the money is, I can't really say what this is where the money is because I've seen rules, right? Social media management itself, right? Yeah. I've seen if you're going for foreign rules, I think days back I saw the worth of $3,000.
Wow.
Yes, foreign rule. Yes, exactly. So imagine compared to a digital marketer, maybe in Nigeria. Yeah. Right, that is collecting 300K. In his mind, he's collecting plenty money. And you are doing social media management for a client abroad, and you are collecting $3,000. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, right? And I've also seen like roles in marketing and communications that are up to like ₦1 million. Right, so it depends. It depends on your level of your level of skill. It depends on the company, right? Because I mean, there are companies you go to, they're paying their social media managers 100,000 naira. You go to another place, they're paying them as much as 400,000 to 500,000. So it just depends on the skill level, and it also depends on the company.
Wow, I really agree to that company because you could even see someone very good. Because person is in a small company, person is earning it. And then you will see someone almost doing nothing. For example, now imagine a big company that has all of the ideal social media team. So there is no much stress on one person. And then you'll find someone else in another company that is doing everything and is still not earning 1/10 of one of those people's salary, not even all of them combined. So I really agree with that fact that when it comes to these online skills, especially the creatives, like ourselves, where there's really no benchmark, there's really no boundary to an extent, I think the company really matters. So how can people target the right company? How can we know which fish in the ocean to hook?
Oh dear. Let me give that a thought quickly. Honestly, how do you know right company to target? The truth is, some of these companies, right, they might have by experience, not just personal experience, but from people I know also. They might have big names, right? Or you enter there and you get the salary, you open your mouth like, "Ah, is this what I've been fighting for?" Right?
Really?
Yeah, actually, you'll be surprised. Yeah. There are companies like that. They have big names and you go in there and the money is like, hey, come on, I was expecting more than this. Do you get? So I don't know if you're looking for the money. So it depends. Plenty money means different things to different people. I saw someone start us a digital marketer like myself, and it was like he had high paying jobs sometime back, 200K, and
I pay.
200K high pay. Excuse you? What's that? So it depends on what you need. If you ask me what high pay means,
Talking
of
about
dollars.
thousands of it.
Exactly. So if you think like me, if dollars is your high paying job, you want to target like foreign companies, right? And sometimes most of these jobs you actually like see the salary range attached to it. So you get to like know if this is like what's your time, what's your effort, and all of that.
Thank you so much. So let's break it down now to a point. I'm a novice. I want to work in a foreign company. So taking from what you said, I can start by learning the skill, working on projects, maybe volunteering a little to boost my portfolio. Then from there, I can just start applying. That's nice. So what else do you think that you can share to us, aspiring social media managers, that I've not asked, anything I'm leaving out that you want to share? Word of advice?
I'll say like have passion for what you do, right? People most days people just like go into jobs and they're like, oh, they say the money is there and just run into it, and it starts to like seem like a cycle. You're just going to work, you're coming back, you're doing something you don't enjoy. I'm not a fan of that kind of life at all, right? Don't just go into something because the money is there. You're coming into social media management. Come in because you genuinely like it, right? I mean, and there's so many growth opportunities in social media management, and
That's what I want to hear. Great opportunities. Please go on.
yeah, there's so many great opportunities in social media management, and I think we like talked about some of them already, like going into relating to becoming like a marketing and com specialist and all of that. Now, what this means, marketing and com specialist, you deal with communications. This one, you are really left posting on social media for small people. Right now, you're like relating with stakeholders, you're relating with other brands, you're like doing PR, like how a brand is being presented out there, like in front of media houses and all of them, in front of stakeholders and all of that. You're the one controlling that and all that. You're like the, should I say, sort of a spokesperson for the company when it comes to communications and all that, media and all that, you do one day. And so yeah, if it's something you love, I mean, there should be a balance of passion along with the skill you're doing. So you go for it because you not because of money. I mean, I feel like money should be like one of the least. I don't know
How
things.
Nigerian people love
I
money.
know, I don't know money, but like, I mean, what's the point of putting your soul into what doesn't like really give you joy? And I'm saying it because there are people that do that are working in places, right, that they enjoy it and they are making the money. So you can as well be like that. Don't
Very
mind.
true. So it's not about the money alone.
Exactly.
But can we still call it a good skill for maybe people that they don't really want to work for the money, but right now they need the money.
They need the
So
money.
they can easily just quickly learn social
Yeah,
media, then work before
they go
go
into
into
exactly.
Okay, and there's something that I would love to ask because you mentioned it too. When people want to go into social media management, they tend to trivialize it and just like it's not just posting. And it also goes beyond that in the sense of how people also see social media managers, right? They tend to just trivialize them as well. It's not just to post. You know, you can even tell somebody that I'm working in a company now, and that company is a big brand,
Yeah.
and then they are almost respecting you, and they're like, what did you not say, social media manager? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
so you just post. I was even thinking maybe you were programmer or something.
It's funny, right? It's funny and annoying at the same time, because even your bosses most times think you just post.
Yeah.
Actually, because I mean, I remember the first thing they brought in a new operations manager. She came in new, and at some point, this woman made that same statement, like, anybody can do what you're doing.
Wow,
Don't say that. Don't say, because I mean, it takes a lot, right? And until you're there, you might not know, right? Because I mean, I might be talking, it takes a lot now. Somebody's like, what does it take? I don't think. Do you understand? Because I mean, you have to like imagine. Okay, just picture this. Now, this was purely not needed. I mean, what we did in our first piece of work, we were required to put out posts, 5 different posts every single day. It sounds light, right?
It doesn't sound like
yes,
5
each day. Yes, each day.
Not like
put out
that.
5 posts. Do you understand? So at the end of the week, 35 posts. At the end of the month, do the math. That's 140 posts. So if you're creating a content calendar, you have to be thinking 140 posts for the month.
And each would have to be unique.
Exactly. They expect it to be unique.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I mean, that's not ideal at all. But you can find yourself in that kind of a situation and all of that, and I mean, it's just.
So is there a way we can put those people in their place when they say things like that?
Actually, yeah. That's where believing in your skills comes into play, right? Because I mean, when I was just starting out my career then. Now, if I go into another job and somebody's coming to tell me, in fact, even posting 3 times in a day, I will sit you down and I will school you. And it doesn't work that way. When it comes to social media management, when it comes to content, it's always quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And another thing they don't notice, right, is when you've already noticed is that this particular page is posting out a lot of content and people are not engaging with it. It starts to think that, oh, your content is not what's pushing out, right? It's not watching other people, it's not interesting. They feel like it's subpar content, it's not a quality content. So they won't show it to people, right? And that generally affects the growth of the page. I mean, something I noticed that time in my first place of work. Imagine you posting 5 times a day, you would think that your page should be growing. But instead, we even lose it for followers.
Yeah.
Because your followers will get tired of seeing you posting every time. You just imagine every time you come online, one particular brand, you not scroll up to 3 minutes, it's the same brand you're seeing again and that. So
especially maybe when you're just posting pictures of the products or things like that. It's not funny.
It's nothing new. In fact, when you see them, you say, these people have come again. You quickly swipe past. You get there are brands like that I'm even guilty of it. I've had to unfollow them because of, I mean, how am I feeling you? Just keep coming up on my page every time and there's nothing really, I'm not learning anything new or something like that. So it's never about how often we post, it's about the quality of what we do. So right now I can't go to any company now. They'll not come and tell me, hey, I'm posting 10 times a day.
That's amazing. So in that kind of situation, how can you communicate that to your boss? That imagine you just have a boss and it's like, what am I paying you for today? We've never posted anything today. And at that moment, you're actually working on strategies. They just feel that post and then you just post.
Exactly. It's not for the finger hands. You just
so how can you respond to those people and school them and let them understand that yes, this is social media management, but that's not how it works.
Okay. So as a skilled social media manager, right? When it comes to this, you have to be confident. Like really, first of all, you have to be confident. You have to let them see your confidence. You have to let them know that you know what you're doing, right? Because the reason they behave like that most times is they feel like some of them think they know more than you. You as a social media manager, they feel like they know more than you.
Very true. Especially because most times another funny part is that the social media manager per se is a lot of the time always younger than the rest in the company. Exactly. So I think that just adds to the oppression.
Very true, very, very true, honestly. Okay. So you have to communicate what you're saying with confidence. You have to, most of the times, you have to back it up with facts. right? You have to like tell them, okay, maybe for example, you've experienced maybe working with that company, you've experienced how that it doesn't work. Because we actually did it, right? When the new operations manager came, we had to meet and we were like, hey, this strategy, it's not working. Look at it. Look,
I love that.
yeah. I mean, look at it. Look at the page of the group. But even losing followers, and all that, she was like, okay, fine. Now she had to be the one. We had to explain it to her. I mean, we are fresh out of school graduates. This person we're working for is a mother of three. She doesn't want to listen to what he was saying. So we had to like go through the operations manager. We brought our facts to her. We presented it to her, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And she took it up to management. And at the end of the day, we were able to like reduce it from 5 to 3, at least. It was it reduced the workload for us.
But did it help like the growth of
The growth of the page a bit? It did help a bit because I mean when it reduces your workload, you are able to like that extra time you have in your hands, you're able to use it to like put out more quality content.
Amazing, amazing. And you do mention something you've mentioned it several times now, and that's the word quality content. So what really makes a content quality? Is it the quality of the camera, which I believe is not what you're referring to right now? So what makes it content that you release this content and you just know that it's quality content?
Okay. So quality content, right? I believe a lot of things going into play, right? It has to be clear, right? It has to be concise. It has to communicate properly what you do to your audience as a way. If for example you're posting about the content about what your company does, it has to be something your audience relates with, right? Now I'm saying your audience. Don't forget the part you mentioned target audience, because I mean you're showcasing this to a particular set of people, so you have to make sure it's something that's relatable to them. You have to make sure it's something that they understand easily, something that clicks with them, right? So there are different kind of content. There's content for engagement, right? There's content you put out solely so that it can bring in engagement for you. Maybe you like ask a question. That's content also. All those online questions you see them drop on social media that brings you so much engagement. That's content also. So if you're asking a question like that, for example, it has to be you funny enough, you have to like still put in thoughts into that question. Is this something that's going to strike a conversation? For example, right? If you put in thoughts, is this something that's going to strike a conversation, or is it something that people will just read and pass? They don't. It's not worth their time to start commenting on social media. That kind of effort. Do you understand? So, one of the contents I mentioned earlier. Before the interview, the one that went viral, right? Now that one was purely for engagement. Now it was like a mother, right? It was for the lactation company. It was a mother breastfeeding her 2 children. One was like a baby, one was a baby, and the other one was about a 2-year-old big baby. Imagine he was still breastfeeding, and he just packed a lot of a lot of conversations. Some mothers were like, "Yes, I'm currently doing this. It's called tandem breastfeeding, tandem feeding. I'm currently doing this. My elder one is 3. Imagine feeding breastfeeding 3-year-old. So my oldest one is 3, and my youngest is 2 months or something like that. And so people come and they're like, "What nonsense? What is this?" So it's packed
a conversation because it was controversial.
Exactly. It was controversial. So you want to think, okay, is this something that my audience can relate with? Is this something that will make them stop scrolling and want to engage with this content?
Wow, that's really nice. Honestly, the more you answer, the more questions I want to ask. It's almost like I'm needing a full social media course right now. But you've really done a lot for us in terms of the knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know if you noticed over our channel, we usually do this rapid fire question, a 1-minute rapid fire question to create fun and engagement, like you said. And we're just going to fire as many questions as we can within 1 minute. Are you ready? Sure. Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
LinkedIn or TikTok?
LinkedIn.
Favorite social media tool? Best time to post?
That's crazy. Evening.
Stories or posts?
Posts.
First social media platform you joined?
Facebook.
Hashtag love them or hate them? The most underrated platform?
Facebook.
Favorite brand on social media? Canva or Photoshop? How many has a day on social media? What's other content or strategy?
Strategy.
Content calendar, yes or no? Reels or carousel? Congratulations. So, how many questions do you think you answered?
It should be up to 10.
Yes, you did more than
Are
10.
you serious?
You did more than 10. You did about 13 questions.
Yay.
Congratulations. So it was really nice having you, and I hope we can get to have you on our platform. Our platform.
Really nice.
Thank you so much. Bye.